Hi everybody, this is Michael from rmiguel.com, and I'm here to show you a couple tips and a couple tricks on how to do some note-taking and navigating around the Olive Tree Bible Reader 5 application on the iPad. Let's open it up. Here you can see that I have the King James Version opened up, and to navigate to different books and verses, I can go to the Go To menu. Now if you scroll this down, you can choose from these two selections here. The one selected now, let's say I want to go to Genesis, but I want to go to verse 11. There you go. 11 verse 1. Okay, there you go. Go back to the Go To and bring this down again. And select the other one. Oh, there you go. Okay, let's now go back to Genesis 1:1. So there you have it, two ways of navigating and reading books and verses. Okay, now let's go into annotating some of these verses. Let's say I go back and I want to choose Romans 10:9, and I want to highlight that verse. Just hit the number. You're prompted with a menu. You can choose highlight. Oops. Let's try that again. Highlight, and I'll choose this color. So now the verse is highlighted in yellow. And I want to highlight the bottom part. But this time I'm going to change and choose green. Okay. Now a cool trick, if you're doing any kind of researching, you can group these verses by highlighting colors, and you can have a reference of all the collected verses that you have in highlighted in different colors. So if I go to the suitcase, which is my stuff, let's go again. Okay, and choose highlights. If I click on, I'll touch on the yellow. Here are all the verses that I have highlighted in yellow. And again, it's a good tool if you want to select certain verses. If you're working on a section, let's say a topic, and you highlight them all in one color. And for reference use, let's say I want to go back and hit green. I have Romans 10:9 and Romans 10:10 highlighted. And there you have it, right there. So that's actually a good way of getting around if you're researching or doing any kind of Bible studies where you need to be working on two different topics. It's a good way of getting back to that topic in other selected verses. Okay. Up next, let's look at the Strong's number reference. If I go to library, I have the King James with Strong's number reference already purchased, so I can touch that and select it, and there it is, load it. So if I click, or not click, if I touch on top of the number on the right hand side, I have it in split screen mode. If I'm working a specific word and I want to know a little bit more information about that word, I have that information here. And as you can see, you could also highlight that. Okay, let's see, I want to see more information on whosoever. Click on that. Keep saying click, but it's really touch on that. And there you go. Here's the information. Cool. Again, this is an in-app purchase. It doesn't come with the application, but I think if you're looking to get into reading the Word and studying it, and this is a good application and a good in-app purchase to get. Okay, moving right along. Looking at note-taking with this application, as you can see, I have the King James Version loaded on the left-hand side, and I have a notepad open. And this is pretty handy because if you're in a teaching setting or following along somebody that's reading and want to take some notes, you can select different books by going to the Go To and all that. and then you can touch that, and you can start. This is a test note, and you can be typing away. That's really cool, but I find it to be a little bit, for me, slow. So one of the ways that I take notes, and my tip for taking notes using this application, is to go to the full screen mode of a note, and using the hyperlinks that are enabled with this program, you can say Romans 10:9. Now you have to close the keyboard, and you'll see a line under it. Close the keyboard again, and that you've made a hyperlink. If you touch that the right way, because sometimes you see what happens to the keyboard, but you get used to it. See, you get used to it. Once you click on it or touch on it, the selected chapter and verse pops up, and just like if you had on split screen mode, and type away, now you could do so, but I find that it's easier to follow along, and now I can, this is a verse I would like to read much later. Oops. Much later. Okay. So again, you have to close the keyboard, and you have to touch right under the verse, and you'll get the pop-up of that verse. Now, you have to annotate, or you have to see how I put ROM for Romans. You have to do it exactly the same way that it appears in the selection, okay? So if you go to, say, John, 10:10. There you go. Okay? So, you have to be very careful to select or to write the book and the verse the same way they do. Okay? We're here at the last thing to show you. And when I was purchasing, or when I was looking to purchase a Bible application, I tried it all. One of the things that really shined when I looked at this application was that at first it had a way to export my notes, my bookmarks, my information that I would write inside to an application called Evernote externally. Evernote is a very good service that allows you to, for here in this application, take my notes, for example, and send it via the cloud, and I can look at that information either on my iPad, because I have an application for the iPad, or my iPhone, or even on my computer, either be Mac or PC. Later on, Olive Tree decided to come up with their own sync service, and it has improved actually in the way that you can interact with that, because not only can you save externally the notes, but now you can have bookmarks in your highlights, and you can even share that information. So I'm going to show you how to do some of that, okay? So let's say you've got some notes in here, and you've got some bookmarks, and you've got some highlighted information, but now you want to take it from here, and you want to look at it on your desktop. So I go to my little suitcase again, and I'm going to actually start from the beginning. Here you go. You can hit External Sync Service, and you have two prompts. You can sync services below, or by using the Evernote cloud application and services. And you may want to look into that, because that's if you own an iPad or an iPhone, it's a very good service to look into for capturing information. Okay, or I can save my information via the Olive Tree Study Sync. Okay, so to show you that, I have actually got that information right here. on my desktop. Let me move in closer. And there you go. Okay, so I have an account, which is free, with the Olive Tree people, and you can set up visually now. You can on your desktop. You can get this on a Mac, or you can get it on a PC. Here I'm using a MacBook Pro here, but now all my bookmarks are shown. And if you don't like editing your notes on the iPad or the iPhone, you can edit your notes here on your desktop or laptop. And here I have my highlights. Okay, and then I can even share this information again via the Evernote service or as an XML file and export it to, if you have Microsoft Excel. And so you can get that note out in that format. So let me show you what my notes will look like. Cool. And here's a note I've written. Maybe you can get closer. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. And you have a way of tagging this note. So if I'm going to search, I can search for the tag, and this is, say, Christ in, since that's the subject and the title of this note. I can add it, and I can pick tags, and there it is. There's my tag for that specific note. So if I type in and search Christ in, that note will pop up. Okay, just a couple tips and a couple of ways on how I utilize the Olive Tree Bible Reader 5 application. Thank you. Hope you enjoy.